Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Zoom board meeting of the South Orange County Community College District. We thank you for your patience as we continue to navigate this virtual platform. We welcome board members who are participating via Zoom webinar. Please be advised that everyone participating via Zoom video or call has been muted. Trustees TJ Prendergast, Tim Jamal, James Wright, Carolyn Inman, Barbara J., Marcia Milchiker, Terry Whitt-Rydell, and student trustee Ethan Monafee have been designated as panelists. We also welcome any members of our district community and the members of the public who are viewing the meeting live via Zoom webinar. Following the meeting, the district will make the recording available on the SOCCCD website. As a reminder, board members are asked to use the raise hand feature via Zoom when they wish to speak and are encouraged to mute their audio when not speaking to minimize disruption. The board is open to receiving public comments. The published agenda requested for public comments to be submitted in advance of the meeting by email. Public comments will be read aloud at the appropriate time in the meeting. For this meeting, President Prendergast has allowed for public comments to be read by the writer. If you submitted a public comment and have requested to read the comment into the record, your name will be called and you will be unmuted and allowed to speak. Please note that the 2-minute time limit will be observed. I would like to turn the meeting over to Trustee Prendergast, who will call the meeting to order.
Welcome. So the December 14th, 2020 meeting of the South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees is hereby called to order. This governing board meeting is conducted pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953 and Governor Newsom's Executive Order N-29-20 and N-35-20. I ask that trustees mute themselves at this time. At this time, we will have actions taken in closed session read out by the Chancellor.
On a 7-0 vote regarding claim number 588705, the board voted in closed session to issue a notice of rejection of claim pursuant to Government Code Section 913. The governing board further authorizes the Chancellor or designee to issue any appropriate notices.
Okay. And next we have invocation led by Trustee Milchker and then the Pledge of Allegiance led by myself. So please rise.
We wish every one of you a peaceful and meaningful holiday and a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. This has been a very challenging year for everyone, professors, staff members, administrators, and perhaps even more challenging for our wonderful students. Many of them face an incredible number of insecurities. I am so grateful that our colleges have done everything they could to help our students through this very difficult time. We have distributed hardware, made Wi-Fi available, raised and distributed donations and scholarships, offered free textbooks, and so much more. We provided superb online counseling, tutoring, and psychological assistance. Because of the record number of students we have taking advantage of these programs and our registration numbers, data shows that we are making a difference in our students' lives. The students I see in student government and other activities are developing grit and compassion, and it is beautiful. So thank you for all you have done and will continue to do to support our students. I'm so very proud of all of you. We are traveling through a long, dark tunnel right now. The U.S. reached 300,000 COVID deaths today, while simultaneously, Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines were being administered to our healthcare workers for the first time. These vaccines are shining a lovely light at the end of this dark tunnel. Meanwhile, stay safe because we need you. We ask for your guidance and we give heartfelt thanks to our district, Saddleback College, and IVC for all you do for our students.
Okay, thank you. Next, please join me in saluting the flag of our nation. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
To the republic.
Which it stands.
One nation.
A nation under God, indivisible.
With liberty,
and justice for all.
Okay, so because we have a number of public comments on the docket, and technically we're not really supposed to vote on anything until we've heard from public comments, I'm going to move 2.7 up to this point, and then we'll take care of the oath of offices, the service pins, and the organizational meeting after that point. So with that, Chancellor Burke, you have the list of people wishing to make public comments.
Yes, we have 20 public comments today, starting with Jackson Spencer, who will be speaking on his own behalf. Moving on to Aisha Ahmad.
I am a student at IVC and an ASIVC senator, but things that happen in Saddleback impact our whole community. Two of the main reasons people give for keeping the gaucho is to protect tradition and that some alumni feel it is part of their identity. I feel that it is important to tell you that I and many other students find this to be a baseless argument without supporting evidence. A current Saddleback student who was a 17-year-old white male anonymously stated, "The argument that just based on precedent alone we should continue to use the gaucho as a mascot is inherently flawed. Racism has always been able to continue under the guise of it's always been that way. This is why slavery, segregation, and other horrific practices and institutions were able to continue for as long as they did. Like he pointed out, almost any act, no matter how horrible, can be hidden behind the shield of tradition. It is now time for you to do the right thing and to stop that practice. Furthermore, the gaucho identity should never have been part of our tradition because it was wrong for us to take it to begin with." Again, quoting from the student testimony, "We also cannot honor it or be true to the culture it comes from, as it is not our culture to steal." End quote. No example of cultural appropriation has ever been this clear. I'm asking those who still need convincing to think about where you want to stand in the history of this college. On the side of tradition or hiding behind tradition? On the side of justice or hiding behind tradition? Thank you.
Oh, no.
Carolyn G.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Caroline G, and I've been a professor of psychology at Saddleback College since 2008. Today, I'm sharing a comment written by a 23-year-old Mexican-American and Italian student from Saddleback. When asked why a redesign of a gaucho mascot won't solve the problem, he replied, and I quote, "You will still have the meaning of the gaucho no matter what you do to the design. For example, you can trick out your car with new rims, a paint job, leather seats, or even a spoiler on the back, but it will always have the same engine and internals. Don't let the logo become an illusion. Just because the logo is covert now, not explicitly taught to us or encoded in words or symbols, doesn't mean it has no negative effect. What many sports teams do to honor someone is that they retire their jersey. If you want to honor the gaucho, then retire the mascot and start fresh." End quote. Thank you for considering the perspectives of students from our college.
Thank you. Carla Westfall.
I think I was just called on to speak, but is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. In the process of being authorized, I can't hear what's said. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Carla Westfall, and I teach math here at Saddleback College, but I'm also reading this statement on behalf of a Saddleback student. This student preferred to remain anonymous. She identifies as female, white, and 18 years old. In response to those who want to retain the gaucho as our mascot for reasons of tradition, she says, "You can look back on the pictures and memories from previous years. Creating new traditions that are inclusive for everyone will help unite the student body and diversify Saddleback's culture. This year will go down in the history books due to the mass amount of social change we are seeing. If it was up to me, I'd want to be on the right side of history and do the right thing by retiring the gaucho and making it something more inclusive. Now is the time to change it while the world around us is changing and growing. Again, thank you for listening to the students' perspective.
Peyton Dodd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for seeing me today. I live 5 minutes away from Saddleback College, an admitted luxury. I could wake up 10 minutes before the start of class and go home for lunch every day. I didn't. Instead of attending the college down my block, I chose to take the bus to Irvine Valley, over an hour each way, with 2 transfers. Instead of waking up 10 till my class, I was leaving my house at 7 a.m. to make it to my 9 o'clock class on time. My reason for all of this extra effort to get the same degree can be summed up in one word: gaucho. Since the fact that your mascot personally hurts your own students apparently isn't a convincing enough argument for some of you, let me put this into a financial perspective. I am a 19 unit per semester student. I travel extensively for extracurriculars, and I do not qualify for need-based aid. By losing my attendance alone, Saddleback lost almost $3,000. I think that surely would have been a decent sum to pay for new uniforms. And with the considerable controversy surrounding racial inequity, I am far from the only one who left because of our mascot. So multiply that number by a few hundred students per term, and Saddleback's pocketbook is really beginning to lighten. While you personally may not believe that it isn't the right time for a change, or that changing the mascot would cost too much, I ask, when is the perfect time? And for every day until then, pull a $3,000 check out of your wallet and trash it. Because while you're waiting, your students are taking action, and we won't stand for injustice, no matter how small you think it is. For the financial prosperity of Saddleback and for the respect of your student body, please retire the gaucho.
Erica Vogel. My name is Erica Vogel, and I teach anthropology and ethnic studies at Saddleback. Yesterday, the New York Times confirmed that Cleveland's baseball team is retiring the demeaning and racist nickname, the Indians. Like our gaucho, their original mascot was a cartoonish and stereotypical depiction of an ethnic group. In 2019, they had started to phase out that image and replace it with a C, which is similar to what we tried to do with the G. However, the people protested because the image change was not enough. As one of our students said about the gaucho, we don't have a design problem, we have a concept problem. It's wrong to use the ethnic groups as mascots, whether they be Native Americans or gauchos. A 24-year-old white male Saddleback student put it this way: I do not know what the mascot stood for and was unaware of its history, but after learning about it, I can say it's very sad that we still have this mascot, and we should have gotten rid of it already because as it is hurtful. Saddleback includes people of all cultural backgrounds who have come together to further their education. So it should be a place where everyone feels safe and respected. In my opinion, redesigning it should not be an option, and it should be removed completely to make sure more people don't get hurt, and to show those who have already gotten hurt that they are being thought about. This is your chance to acknowledge past wrongs and heal our community. Anything but a full and quick retirement of the gaucho will result in a growing number of students becoming disillusioned with our promises to be an institution that supports our students and stands for justice. Please retire the gaucho immediately or return this decision back to the college. Natasha Noriega Goodwin. I'm speaking today because I want the gaucho mascot retired. I've worked at Saddleback College for 8 years and have found the mascot problematic since I was first hired. As the inspiration for a new mascot, I'd much prefer to pay homage to an animal or plant. For example, it's never made me shudder to consider myself a proud banana slug. One side of my family is from Chile. I've traveled extensively throughout the southern cone. Having grown up familiar with gaucho culture, it is truly bizarre to then witness a people and their traditions be reduced to a mascot at my workplace. It's these very stereotypes that have made it possible for me to have had peers throughout my schooling, even in college, who at most had a handle on the name of one or two countries in South America. This level of ignorance is somewhere between befuddling and deeply disheartening. At Saddleback, the disinterest in South America has felt no less jarring. Case in point, during the town hall, some colleagues of mine continued to claim that gaucho was but Spanish for cowboy, even after a professor of anthropology had given an overview. Having had decades to explore the nuances of gaucho culture, those who claim to be the most attached to the mascot view it as a moniker completely devoid of the origins they claim to revere. It has been a long time coming, but we are now at a tipping point where we can break with some demeaning, unsavory baggage from the past. Contrary to what some have decried as jumping on a bandwagon, striving for equity is about justice. Nostalgia or a sense of belonging to a sports team cannot supplant the need for current and future Saddleback students and employees to feel truly included. This can only begin when we decide to drop caricatures of ethnic minorities. Personally, it would go a long way toward making someone like me, who's biracial of Latin American heritage, feel seen. Heidi Ochoa.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Ochoa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. My name is Heidi Ochoa. I'm a communication studies professor, also vice president of academic senate at Saddleback College. I've been working here since 2006. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak today. Last board meeting, I came in with my own prepared statement. Today, I am coming in here to read a student's prepared statement. She is a self-identified 28-year-old female from Saddleback. She says, I find the gaucho mascot very offensive as a woman. The gaucho is a masculine figure and I don't see myself as masculine. I don't feel connected to this mascot. I don't understand why we can't just have an animal as our mascot. To be honest, when I first saw this at a school, I thought nothing of it, but listening to the facts and how racist this breaks my heart. It makes me wonder why I would want to go to this school if they think this is okay. So that was pulled from a 20-year-old female student. At the beginning of today's public comments, we called Jackson Spencer, one of our alumni, and I think he had trouble logging in. So I just wanted to note that in case we could provide him with an opportunity to speak. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, we'll take care of that at the end. We'll go back around. Claire Cesario.
Hi, good evening. My name is Claire Cesario and I'm a professor of anthropology at Saddleback College. I am reading this statement on behalf of a student who attends both Saddleback and IVC and wants to remain anonymous. He is 19 years old and identifies as Hispanic. His mother is from Mexico and his father is from El Salvador, and he was born and raised in California. This is his statement. I had seen the original Saddleback Gaucho mascot before when I was in middle school while doing research on colleges, and I always found it to be interesting. Coming from a Hispanic family, I was originally pleased by the choice and thought it was a school for Hispanics and really liked the thought of going to Saddleback where I would be welcomed and feel comfortable. However, after growing up and learning more about the history behind gauchos, I now find that this mascot makes me very uncomfortable and rather overwhelmed. Now that I am at Saddleback, instead of making me feel welcome, it actually makes me feel the opposite. I feel out of place and I want to look the other way whenever I am confronted with it. I think that people who want to continue to keep the gaucho are blind to what many of us may feel towards this mascot. It would be best to select a new mascot that is more welcoming rather than to continue to support a mascot that makes people want to turn their heads or find a more comfortable college in which to settle. It may be tradition, but no one should want a tradition tainted by racism. Thank you for listening to the comments of our current and future students, particularly our Latinx students, on the issue of the gaucho mascot.
Zully Vielman. My name is Zully Vielman, and I am a community member educator, Latina, and mother of 3. I'm an immigrant from Guatemala. I do not support the gaucho as a symbol of Saddleback College. No one's culture should be caricatured or portrayed in a negative light for any reason, much less as a team mascot. It is important for Latino voices to be heard and to be listened to, and for this decision to be made by Latinos, not imposed on the community by people who do not relate to our culture. I want my children to attend a college that portrays all people in positive ways and not as stereotypes. Next is, and please forgive the pronunciation, Parashat Sadi. My name is Parashat Shadi. I am a third-year student at IBC. Dear Board of Trustees, I guess all of you have already made up your mind whether to retire or retain the gaucho, but I am pleading with you to have your ideas challenged. If you want the gaucho to stay, what is your response to hundreds of students and faculty who have voiced the pain and shame that the gaucho has caused them? After your decision, how can you explain to Latinx residents who you represent and who have voted for you that you had the power to retire the gaucho but chose not to? We are a Latinx serving district and the gaucho is offensive and inappropriate. Those are facts. I'm not a Latinx person, and I am not personally offended by the gaucho. I assume you are not either. But I am offended when I witness my district does not respect minorities. I am offended when my district refuses our colleges to live up to their mission statements, creating a welcoming environment in which all members of our college community have equitable opportunities and feel nurtured and respected. People talk about some alumni carrying the gaucho throughout their lives. Well, what about those alumni who didn't? What about all the students who do not? We have a mascot. We are so ashamed that we can't even sell merchandise with its picture on it. Mascots are about pride, being proud of attending Saddleback, being part of this great community. Please be part of this community and retire the gaucho. Give us the opportunity to wear the mascot with pride that Saddleback deserves. Thank you. Valia Oliva. The resolution for the gaucho mascot should no longer be something that should be changed, but rather must be changed. As students, faculty, and community members have made apparent, this mascot is not something we want representing our school. The mascot is racist and a form of cultural appropriation. This movement to change our mascot is a great example of how our school and community have been made aware of the problems related to racist stereotypes and issues with cultural appropriation that we have seen in today's day and age. As a Latina woman, I feel absolutely discriminated against by having such a racist and stereotypical mascot represent me and my school. It makes me think that if we accept this type of ideology for our mascot, we are also accepting that it's okay for our Latinx community on campus to be seen as and thought of as just stereotypical as our own mascot. While I understand the position to save the mascot due to the sense of tradition, we need to listen to the side that is being affected. We need to acknowledge that keeping a mascot for tradition isn't as powerful as freeing students from racist ideologies and creating a more equitable environment on campus where students are proud to represent a mascot that isn't outright discriminating against a population of our students. Ricardo Fernandez.
Thank you for your time. First of all, I approach this issue as a Latino anthropologist and as a native of Uruguay, where gauchos once roamed. I can therefore attest to the term being colonialist, racist, and sexist, as it applied to a population born out of the rape of Native and African women by white European colonizers. Despised as rebellious bastards of mixed ancestry, for centuries, gauchos were pushed to the hinterlands of the La Plata region of South America and to the fringes of society. By 1875, as barbed wire ended cattle roundups, gauchos were forced to settle down as destitute hacienda peons. In a moment eerily similar to the romanticizing of Native Americans that started in the US after the closing of the frontier, gauchos, disappear as free individuals, while their myth and their whitewashing begins to be spun by the urban elites in the form of poems, plays, monuments, and songs. I also approach this issue as a US citizen and as a proud member of the Saddleback community who understands all too well that our Latinx students reject a mascot that makes them feel discriminated and unwelcome. While I appreciate the appeals to tradition, communities should not be held hostage to it. A tradition is only worth keeping as long as it serves a useful purpose. If large numbers of our current and prospective students reject this divisive mascot, we should listen and engage them and eventually act decisively, for traditions cannot trump inclusiveness and fairness. Failure to do so is particularly puzzling when the college is seeking to recruit more Latinx students to reflect California demographics, but also as part of our commitments to receiving the HIS grant. If our goal is to close the gap to ensure student equity in access and achievement, keeping the gaucho seems like the perfect way to sabotage our attempts to succeed at that already difficult enough task. For all of those reasons, I implore you, do away with the gaucho mascot. Thank you.
Hasi Totekashian.
Hello, my name is Hasti Sotekashan, and I am a current student of both Saddleback and IBC community colleges, as well as previously being a tutor at the Student Success Center at IBC. Working with our diverse student body has taught me many lessons in student equity and unity. The gaucho is a symbol that is deeply stereotyping, racist, culturally appropriating, and misogynistic. How can we be a school representative of all our students when our image is what tears our student body apart? Coming from Saddleback's own mission statement, quote, Saddleback's value of inclusivity states that they are striving to create a welcoming environment in which all members of our college community have equitable opportunities, feel capable, nurtured, and respected. Please take a moment to ask yourself how this could be possible with a mascot like the gaucho. And as for the Board of Trustees, who state they are working to provide a dynamic and innovative learning environment for diverse learners of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities, again, how is this possible with the gaucho being representative of one of your campuses? Furthermore, the goal of, quote, SOCCCD fostering an environment characterized by innovation, creativity, respectful interactions, and collaborations be possible when we are not even respecting ourselves by removing the gaucho. Thank you.
Rosanna Burgos. Good evening, Board of Trustee members. This statement is on behalf of the Saddleback College Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society chapter. First and foremost, the members and officers of Saddleback College Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society ask the members of the Board of Trustees to take action to retire the Saddleback Gaucho mascot entirely. The Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society has been recognized since 1929 by the American Association of Community Colleges as the official National Honor Society for two-year colleges. It was founded in 1918 and today has over 3 million members in 9 countries. At its 1996 start, Saddleback chapter was the largest induction of members in Phi Theta Kappa's history. Since then, thousands of Saddleback College students have enjoyed the fellowship, leadership, scholarship, and service opportunities offered by participation with this honor society. Currently, Saddleback chapter has more than 850 student members. Membership is open to all students, whether or not they participate in honors program classes. Jennifer Fletcher. Each year, our chapter participates in Phi Theta Kappa Honors in an action project which combines academic research, problem solving, and action-oriented service to address real-world challenges in our community. This year, chapter members chose the theme titled Expressions of Truth. In what ways do inherited expressions of truth build lasting legacies? We have chosen to advocate for the retirement of the Saddleback Gaucho mascot. While the Gaucho may have been perceived to be an acceptable mascot during the founding of the college more than 50 years ago, this is no longer the case. Rachel Soltis. The Gaucho is a Spanish-descended native of Argentina and Uruguay and Pampas, noted for their independence and skill in horsemanship and with the lasso. Gauchos were individuals with mixed ancestry, white, native, and African, with restrictive colonial marriage rules. This meant that part of their origin was from race. Furthermore, during the 19th century, a new Gaucho had been romanticized by Hollywood as a white, hyper-masculine character, often portrayed with stereotypical features, such as a bushy mustache and a big nose. The former Gaucho cowboy had many of these traits: white complexion and exaggerated brown nose and a mustache. The Saddleback College mission statement reads, Saddleback College empowers its diverse student body to achieve personal, academic, and economic advancement through equitable and innovative educational experiences. Moreover, one of the college's values is inclusivity, which states we create a welcoming environment in which all members of our college community have equitable opportunities and feel capable, nurtured, and respected. And finally, Preston Hong. Although the college decided to retire the Gaucho cowboy mascot and only use the letter G since 2014, this is not enough. We as a community must acknowledge that the Gaucho in its entirety is not an appropriate mascot for the college. It is clear that the Gaucho does not uphold the mission and values of Saddleback College as stated on the college website. So long as the Gaucho remains the mascot, the history of racism, sexism, cultural appropriation, and misrepresentation of the indigenous Gaucho will continue to be associated with Saddleback College unless the Gaucho is retired completely. The Retire the Gaucho movement transcends our time as students here at Saddleback College, but that's okay. We want to ensure the longevity of the institution to promote and serve bright and motivated students within the diverse and multicultural community, as it has for us for many years to come. Please help us achieve our goal by taking action to retire the use of the Gaucho as a Saddleback College mascot and allow the community to choose another mascot to take its place. Carolina Bravo Karimi. As a Latina woman, daughter of a Latina professor at Saddleback College, former Saddleback College student, mother of a young Latina daughter, and as an attorney who specializes in issues related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I want to voice my opposition to continuing to use the Gaucho as Saddleback's official mascot. Images and representations based in a stereotype are harmful to underrepresented communities. Here, the Gaucho is harmful to Latinx students at Saddleback and the larger Latinx community. This year, more than ever, organizations are reevaluating the impact of their representative symbols, most recently the Cleveland Indians. I hope Saddleback will follow suit. And finally, Majid Karimi. Hello, my name is Majid Karimi. I am adjunct faculty at Saddleback College. I am also the father of 2 Latinx children, which gives me an important perspective on the renaming of the mascot. In my experience as an instructor and as a father, I have seen firsthand how important it is for students to feel accepted and respected so that they can learn with confidence and with a belief that anything is possible for them. I've also seen firsthand how feelings of shame and inadequacy can hurt student learning. The Gaucho mascot makes it hard for many to feel a sense of belonging at Saddleback, and therefore makes it hard for them to learn and succeed. I understand and respect that for some people, the mascot represents a part of the school's history and tradition, and that they don't themselves take any personal offense to it. However, nothing is more important at Saddleback than student learning and success, and an accepting learning environment for all students is not possible while the school mascot brings shame and offense to so many. We, of course, can't shield our students and children from everything, and it's both good and appropriate for students to be challenged intellectually while they are on our campus. But the Gaucho mascot simply does not accomplish that. It does not challenge intellectually. It does not spark curiosity and a passion for learning. We keep talking about inclusivity and equity. It is time to walk the talk. Please, it is time to change the name. Thank you. And those are our public comments.
No, we have one more.
Oh,
We could go back.
yeah, we have to go back to Jackson Spencer.
Yeah, there's two other people, Jack Spencer and Randy Totorp. You see both of them.
Hi, my name is Jack Spencer. I'm an alumni from Saddleback College. I attended 2011 to 2013 and was involved in theater and the forensics team. And I now work as an adjunct faculty at El Camino College, Fullerton College, and Cal State LA. I am proud of Saddleback College. Without this campus and the individuals who teach and work here, I would not have all of the opportunities that I've had. While attending Saddleback, I was involved in theater, and I was so proud of all that I had accomplished. And while I had a lot of school spirit and pride, I felt the opposite of pride about the mascot. And after weeks and weeks of this controversy, I am ashamed of the situation. It does not harm anyone to change the mascot. It harms entire groups of communities to keep the mascot the same. It seems like a very obvious and clear choice. And the fact that we're still having this conversation is truly remarkable. When the goal and purpose of a community college, and particularly Saddleback, is to remove barriers to success and improve achievement gaps for our students, keeping the Gaucho is not in line with that goal. And because the students that we serve feel otherized by the caricature of a Gaucho all over their campus, they suffer academically, so we must make the change immediately. Thank you for your time.
And that's the end of our public comment.
Okay, so next we have the administration oath of new officers. My understanding that did some of you get sworn in officially already, and then this is for the function of the meeting?
Ceremonially.
Ceremonies, gotcha. All right, so I have trustee Carolyn Inman, newly elected, replacing trustee Lang. Trustee Barbara J, re-elected. Trustee Tim Jamal, re-elected, and trustee Jim Wright, re-elected. If you can unmute and raise your right hand and repeat after me.
It says repeat. You don't have to have your paper.
I
Carolyn Inman.
I, Tim Jamal,
Barbara J.
Jim Wright,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly
swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
The
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the
Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against
all
enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true
faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely
that I
take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without
any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or
or
purpose
purpose of evasion.
And I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will
and
well
faithfully
discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties
upon which I'm about to
enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, we also have the presentation of years of service pins. I assume that these will come in the mail at some point. Trustee Jay will be receiving a 5-year pin. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Trustee Whit Riddell will also be receiving a 5-year pin. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I myself will be receiving a 10-year pin. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And trustee Milchiker will be receiving a 35-year pin.
Whoa. Wow.
Congratulations.
It's sped by. It's gone by like an instance, and I loved every minute of it. So thank you.
Good.
Marcia, where are you in the state now? Are you the dean of the delegation?
No, I think there's one person that's been longer than I have, actually, in Ventura, I believe.
Very impressive.
And then finally, we have for trustee Prendergast, this lovely plaque. Congratulating him on his year of service as the board president for 2020. We're even sending you the battery.
What is it he's getting?
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so next we have the annual organizational meeting. So we're going to adjourn the regular meeting temporarily and call to order the organizational meeting, item 2.6. The first item to take care of is the board officers. Current officers is myself as president, trustee Jamal as vice president, and trustee Wright as clerk. At this point, I will take nominations for the office of president.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I have a nomination, but I have a brief comment. I just want to thank you for your role as president over the last 2 years. I think you've done it ethically and conscientiously. And I know I speak for all of our trustees that we appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here.
And now it's my pleasure to nominate trustee Marcia Milchiker for the office of board president.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
All right, I have a motion from trustee Jamal and a second from trustee Jay for trustee Milchiker, office of president of the board. Do I have any requests to speak or discussion? First, I must ask, is trustee Milchiker willing to step into that role?
I'd be delighted to do it. I haven't done it for 25 years.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So knowing what I know from this whole Zoom thing, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Here you go. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and call it to a vote.
Trustee Inman.
I read her lips. Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Monty.
Aye.
So that's a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. So congratulations, trustee Milchiker.
So much. And you have done a wonderful job being president for the last 2 years. You really have
Thank you.
large shoes to fill. So thank you so much. And I'll try to do my best so that we have a really good year. Thank
Do
you.
you object if I continue this portion of the meeting?
No, go ahead. Thank you.
All right.
I haven't done this before, so that's
Next, I will call for nominations for vice president.
Mr. President, I would like to nominate Tim Jamal for vice president. I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second from trustee Rydell and from trustee Jay. Trustee Jamal, are you up for spending another year as vice president?
I am. I appreciate the nomination. Thank you for that. And the second as well.
Okay. Do I have any other discussion or comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on that item.
Aye. Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Bell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Monacy.
Aye.
We have a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. Next,
I
we have,
wasn't asked, but I don't think I need to be asked on that one, correct?
right, because you are the
Yeah.
one that gets it. It's
That's
an
fine.
automatic extension, I guess. Next, we have clerk. Do I have any nominations for clerk?
I nominate Terry Rydell.
I second it.
I have a motion from trustee Jay and a second from trustee Milchiker for trustee Rydell for clerk. Trustee Rydell, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay. Do I have any requests to speak or comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on that.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student trustee Monacy.
Aye.
You have a unanimous trustee yes vote with trustee Rydell abstention and student trustee Montefi's yes vote. Next, we have Exhibit B, appointment of secretary and assistant secretary. The current office holders for those positions, as it is tradition, is the chancellor as secretary and the assistant secretary is vice chancellor of business services, Anne Marie Gable. Do I have a motion to carry over those office holders for another year? Do I have a motion to continue?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from trustee Jamal, a second from trustee Wright. And no request to speak. We'll go ahead and vote on that item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student trustee Monacy.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Next, we have Exhibit C, appointment of trustee representatives. I am making a judgment call here based on knowledge of these things. I'm going to move forward the representative to the SOCCCD Audit Committee because our current chair, Dave Lang, who's no longer trustee, would obviously not be able to continue that role. So that position is, of all of these, I think is maybe one that's not as popular. So we'll see who wants to do that.
Well, TJ, let me ask you, are you interested in this?
I mean, I've been on that committee for a number of years. I'm not currently on it, but I have been. I do know the ins and outs of how that works. I mean, if
I nominate TJ Prendergast for chair of the audit committee.
Hey, I wasn't done. So if there's somebody else that really wanted to do it,
Yay.
I'm not going to stand in
Is
the
there
way.
a second? Is there a second?
I second it.
Second.
See, I think
Seconded it quickly.
sounds like I judged that one correctly.
Yeah.
And
All right.
I nominate trustee Jamal if he's interested in doing that as well,
As a representative.
as a representative to the audit committee. I did it for a number
Sure, yeah,
of years
no
ago.
problem.
Okay, great, excellent.
I'd
Thank
like
you.
to do it. I'd like to do it too.
Oh, great. So I nominate trustee Wright to do that also.
You
Second.
want to stay on it? Okay. So we have a slate of myself as chair, trustee Wright as a representative and trustee Jamal as a representative on the audit committee.
Great.
So we'll go ahead and vote on that slate. The three of us will abstain.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Montee.
Aye.
Okay, the next one that is, I would say, important because trustee Lang was an alternate would be the Orange County Legislative Task Force, which currently has trustee Milchiker as our representative. And again, trustee Lang was the alternate.
I'd like to make a nomination here.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Carolyn Inman to be the chair of the Legislative Task Force.
And I'd like to second that. I second that.
Thank you.
trustee Inman, is that a task you are willing to take on?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Do we want to go ahead and?
That's the representative. It's not
What's
the
that?
chair.
Yeah, it's just a representative, but then we also have an alternate.
The district representative. Yeah, there's an alternate in case the representative can't make it. So would someone like to be the alternate? It meets once a month on a Thursday at 2, and then there's a planning meeting before that.
Trustee Milchker, as a previous representative, would you be willing to serve as the alternate?
Yeah, I'd be willing to, but if someone else wants to do it, I would certainly let them do it if they would rather. So, but I'd be willing to serve it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I
Okay.
have a nomination for trustee Milchker to be the alternate?
Second.
Second.
All right. I guess I nominated them.
Yes.
That's fine.
That's
All right,
fine, yeah.
so Trustee Inman as a representative and trustee Milchker as the alternate for the Legislative Task Force. Any objections? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on the item.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Student trustee Montee.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries with a unanimous yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. So now we'll go back to the beginning. Representative to the nominating committee on school district organization. Current representative is trustee Wright and the alternate is myself.
I move the 2020 slate be renominated for 2021.
I second that.
Trustee Wright, are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, I know it was a really busy job.
Usually there's not much to do, but it's but there are times it's busy, certain times, but not often.
All right, so we have a vote on that item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Student trustee Montee.
Aye.
Motion carries with unanimous yes, 2 abstentions, and a student trustee yes vote. Next, we have the district's political action rep to the Orange County School Board Association. Currently, trustee Rydell, no alternate.
Oh, I thought that was you. That was trustee Rydell? Okay.
I thought that was you, TJ.
Yeah, I thought it was you as well, DJ.
If you're on the OCSBA board, so I thought, you go to those meetings anyway.
This is the political action rep. What I am the community college representative on the Orange County School Board Association. It's a different position.
So who was the rep last year and what did that entail? Did you get any communications on the issue?
It was
Who was
trustee Rydell.
Did anyone ever contact you?
No.
I see the district political action representative, usually they have that meeting prior to the regular meeting of the Orange County School Boards Association. So, you know, the person would probably go to those political action meetings, which are prior to the Orange County School Boards Association meetings. So I think it would be good to have TJ.
I don't think it's named. I don't think it's named correctly. It's not a political
I don't remember
committee.
political action.
So
I don't
yeah,
have
it's
my
not a.
paperwork.
I mean, it's misnamed. It's not political. Defines a very specific purpose, and I mean, I don't know why they call it that, because it's not a PAC.
No, it's not. They have like for a half an hour prior to the OCSBA dinner meetings, which are much less meetings than they used to have, probably none now. They had like a half an hour meeting on some political issue. So that's why they call it a political action committee.
Well, yes, usually legislative, a budget update from Sacramento, that kind of stuff.
That stuff, yeah, absolutely. But
Right.
they're not a PAC for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's more of a informational position than anything. Student trustee Monafi has a question.
Yeah, I just want to know if is it like customary of the student trustee to join any of these meetings, or is it mostly just for the 7 main trustees?
Oh, for the ones that we're dealing with right now, yeah, they have to be elected trustees.
Gotcha. All right.
I'd be all. Wait a minute. Are you sure? I'd be all for student trustee Manafi being the taking this rep position. I'm afraid though, student trustee, I don't think it does anything or it's invited to anything based on what Trustee Whit-Rydell just said.
Well, no,
They probably haven't had any dinner meetings this year.
if you read the description, it is part of the, so we have the 3 dinner meetings. There's what's called the ETC. It had another name before that, and I don't remember what it is. We changed it. But there's a pre-meeting where, like you said, you learn about legislation that's happening in the state level, the national level, the local level. Because I know last year there was that big push to try and get the mental health money from the Orange County Board of Supervisors.
Right.
So that information is there. But again, that ETC meeting is attended by superintendents and school board members from around the county.
Right, and it's open though. I've been to them before.
Yeah, it is open. I don't know I honestly don't know if a student trustee can be on that or not.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Sorry, you go
Just
ahead.
recall that the student trustee term is concluding in April. And you're selecting someone for the calendar year.
Oh, okay. But you can go to the meetings, I think, even if you're not the representative.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, thank you.
Okay. So then back to that. So name wrong or not, Trustee Rydell, do you just want to do it?
I'm going to be doing hopefully 5 and 6. And I think that's a lot with what we meet and what we have to read and do. And as Bobby knows, the foundation takes a lot of work and a 7:30 meeting every month, a.m. I think that would be fair to, because.
Well, how about this? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just to be consistent, maybe this could be Trustee Inman slot as well.
What?
Because she's our legislative rep.
If Carolyn would like to do that, that would be great. I have to say though, TJ, I never went to the pre-meetings. I always, I went to the dinners, and I learned a lot from the introductions that were said about what happened at some of the pre-meetings, but I was never invited to the pre-meetings. It was always being a representative just to the Orange County School Board.
That could just be I don't know if that's a miscommunication on behalf of the Orange County School Board Association that they weren't inviting you, or if it was just assumed that you knew that you were invited to those because of the role.
No, you have to give your answer to It was Joyce Bartlemane at the time, and now it would be Kristen.
Right, that's for the dinner meeting and
Dinner.
Yeah.
the main meeting. The
Mhm.
ETC meetings are like at 5 o'clock before the main dinner meeting.
Okay.
Those are open.
All right. Well, with COVID, we didn't have any. We didn't have
Right,
any
we didn't
this
have any
past year.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I nominate Carolyn Inman.
I
Uh-oh.
second it.
That's fine.
Okay,
We'll try to find out if they're going to meet.
yeah. If they do start to meet up again, as the community college rep on that, I'll try and remember to nudge you that it's
Yeah.
something to go to.
That's good.
All right, so we have a nomination and a second. We'll go ahead and vote on that.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And Trustee Monahan.
Aye.
All right, we have a unanimous yes with a student trustee yes vote.
TJ, who is the alternate to?
There isn't an alternate for that position because it's not something that needs one.
Okay, fine, okay.
So then next we have representative to Saddleback College Foundation.
Could I nominate, I'd like to nominate for the IBC Foundation, trustee Barbara J, and for the Saddleback College Foundation, trustee Terry Witt, because they've been doing it these last few years, and I think they've been doing an excellent job.
I accept.
I accept.
Okay,
I second it.
all right. Any discussion? Doesn't look like it, so we'll go and vote on that item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And Trustee Monahan.
Aye.
Okay, we have a unanimous yes vote and a student trustee yes vote with 2 abstentions. Next, we have the representative to board policy subcommittee.
You know, I know that the people, this subcommittee was founded like last year, and the people on the subcommittee, Tim Jamal was the chair, Bobby J was on the subcommittee, and Terry Witt was on the subcommittee. And what they do is they review all of our board policies prior to us getting them, and it's a very important position. So I'd like to nominate the same people that did it last year because I think they've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Do all 3 of you accept that responsibility?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and vote on that item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And Trustee Monahan.
Aye.
We have a unanimous trustee yes vote with 3 abstentions and a student advisory yes vote. Next, we have the approval of the board meeting calendar. You were all given opportunities to make changes. That does not mean there won't be some changes during the year. There always is. But we have that calendar available. I believe you have it in your agenda.
Yes, Exhibit D.
So
I'd like to move approval of the calendar as it is stated, and then if there's any discussion after that, we could discuss it.
Okay.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion from trustee Milchiker and a second from trustee Rydell. Again, assuming that everyone had their opportunity to have input, go ahead and accept that, and we'll go ahead and vote on it.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Modesty.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries, unanimous yes vote, student advisory yes vote. Next, we have the board agenda planning calendar, which is tied to the board meeting calendar. So barring any typos, which I didn't see, we should be good there. I'll take a motion in a second on that.
I'm so moved.
A second.
Second.
A motion from trustee Jay, a second from trustee Milchker. Go ahead and vote on the item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student trustee Modesty.
Aye.
Motion carries, unanimous yes vote, and a student advisory yes vote. Okay, and last, we have the agenda format. Anybody have any recommendations on adjustments to the agenda format?
That's a good question. Probably not at this time, but is this something I believe we have to do it at this meeting? We can't make adjustments once the year is started. Like, for example, we have our board self-evaluation coming up. But my understanding is it has to be done tonight. And if it is, let's just accept it.
This is the form of the agenda, and actually, as we adopt the board docs this year, we will be changing the agenda format.
Okay, so then at that time, we'll have,
We will adopt it as it is, and then we'll make changes as we need to throughout the year to adopt the new format.
Okay. So do I have a motion and a second to adopt it as is?
move to adopt the agenda format as is right now.
I second it.
Second.
All right. Without further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote on the item.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker. Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student trustee Modesty.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, unanimous yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. With that, that concludes our organizational meeting. So we'll adjourn the organizational meeting and reconvene the regular board meeting, which at this point means trustee Milchker takes over
Okay.
the agenda. I will mention that when we get to items 6.6 and 6.7, I have the public hearing script. So,
I don't have any of the scripts right now, so.
right. So when we get to those two items, if you want to delegate that to me, I can conduct the public hearings.
Okay.
All right. Chancellor, do you guys need a moment to reorganize anything, or are we able to move on?
No, I think if trustee Milcher is comfortable, we can go ahead and start with the reports.
Okay. So thank you so much, President Prendergast. You've done a wonderful job for 2 years, and moving forward, we're moving forward to the oral reports. And we start with board reports. And this time I'm doing it with alpha order, starting with Z today. And I'll try to rotate them so everyone has an opportunity to be first and last. And following President Prendergast's example, I'll be last in my board report this time. So Trustee Wright, do you have a board report?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you're first because you're W. Thank you.
Okay. Let me begin by saying that on Wednesday, November the 18th, from 3:45 to 4:45 p.m., I attended the Saddleback College Stadium Tour. The chancellor was there, plus 6 of our trustees were there. The stadium looks great. It's well done. And I'm looking forward to the fact, hopefully next fall, we'll be able to have a football game and soccer matches and soccer games and so forth. So it was a wonderful activity, touring the new stadium. Second, on the November the 25th, the Orange County Register of Voters certified all the votes in Orange County. And as you already remember or know of, Trustee Barbara Jay was reelected. Trustee Tim Jamal was reelected, and Trustee Jim Wright was reelected, and then another person was Carolyn Inon. So congratulations to all those 4. Let me just on Thursday, the December the 3rd, my wife and I had to leave our area. We had to be evacuated from the house. We got a phone call at 2:30 in the morning saying we might have that, and at 6 o'clock we had a policeman come by on the door and said you have to leave. So we left and went to Mesa, Arizona to stay with our daughter and family. We then returned on the 6th of December. Then on Monday, December the 7th, I joined the celebration of the fall 2020 Saddleback College nursing pinning ceremony. A wonderful, wonderful event. It started at 6 o'clock p.m. Using Zoom, and this was it was well done. And the president of Saddleback College said that it was a wonderful event too also. There were actually 42 graduates who were honored. And my last comment, I want to applaud the Chancellor, Catherine Berg, President John Hernandez, the IVC President, and President Elliot Stern for their reports. They were very, very well done. All 3 of them were. That's my report.
Thank you so much. Now, Trustee Terry Whit-Riddell, sorry.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'd like to dovetail what Trustee Wright said about the stadium tour. I am so proud of the accomplishments that the district put together and lots of time and effort to make it happen. And I look forward that our students can share in such a grand facility. Also, the nursing pinning ceremony, which was different for all of us, and especially me, having worked in the department for 34 years. I am very impressed and proud that the faculty put that together for the students, and the students participated very well. Also, the reports by our president and our chancellor is always informative, and I look forward to reading them. I'd like to welcome Trustee Carolyn Inon on her election to the board, and we will work together for our community and for our students. I also attended several Zoom webinars on diversity, equity, and inclusion via the Chancellor's office the Association of Community Colleges trustee, the ACCT. And then I attended the ACCJC, the Future of Learning seminar series. It was well done. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
And yes, thank you.
Well, thank you. And then trustee Prendergast?
Yeah, so just to reemphasize the stadium tour, the nurses pinning, wonderful events, wonderful opportunities for us to see the good that's happening in the district. And it will be exciting to see students be able to use that facility to its fullest. And for those nurses that graduated, all their hard work to pay off, that they can get jobs in the field, which I'm sure they will with the present environment. Thank you all for your kind words for my task as president. I appreciate that. And I look forward to not doing it for a while and enjoy not having one more thing to do on a Thursday afternoon. Thank you.
And now trustee Jamal. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marcia. Congratulations on becoming president. Carolyn, congratulations on your election victory. To you too, Jim and Bobby as well. Congratulations. Stadium looks great. We had a fantastic tour. Nurses pinning ceremony was good. Obviously, that kind of ceremony is much better in person, but nevertheless, it was great. We had a very productive board policy meeting. So I look forward to doing that again next year. These fires have been devastating. I was really saddened to see that two structures were destroyed on the inside the outdoors property in the Cleveland National Forest, and that is the outdoor education program for the Orange County Department of Education, and they've educated over 100,000 students since 1974. Thankfully, no one was hurt, although a lot of animals did die as a result of the fire. So that was very unfortunate. But no one was hurt. But it's an excellent program, and I think they'll rebuild it. The last thing I will say is, as many of you know, I've spoken at the last two meetings of what's happened in Armenia, my ancestral homeland. I was really pleased that this past Tuesday, the Orange County Board of Supervisors unanimously passed a resolution with one abstention condemning the military attacks by Turkey and Azerbaijan against Armenia and Artsakh. The resolution recognizes the Republic of Artsakh's inalienable right to self-determination as a free and sovereign nation. I give a lot of credit to former trustee, now Supervisor Don Wagner, and Congresswoman-elect Michelle Steele, who co-authored the resolution, and to stand against these kleptocratic regimes in Turkey and Azerbaijan, and to stand against tyranny and oppression and hate and war crimes, and for self-determination and freedom and liberty. And Michelle Steele, Supervisor Steele, and Supervisor Wagner deserve a lot of credit. Our supervisor, Lisa Bartlett, voted for it, as well as Andrew Doe. And I was very heartened to see a unanimous vote. So thank you.
Great, thank you. And trustee Inman, do you have a report today?
Well, I want to thank all of you and the wonderful administrators and staff people who have made me feel so welcome and given me so much information. Since you guys have been on a little longer, maybe they each met with me for an hour, which is more than enough time to begin and, get a feeling and information about, what to do. So I'm really very, very pleased at this first month, even before the oath. It's an honor to serve. And as many of you know, I spent a lot of time also, as some of you have, in community colleges and love the whole system and what we do. I think it's the unsung hero of the whole system. And I did teach everything from kindergarten to community college, so I kind of know the whole system. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here. And so mine hasn't been events this month. It's been orientations, and I'm very grateful for them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And if you need any help, we're here to help you. Okay.
I'll take you up on that.
Great, wonderful. And now my report, 2 minutes. Sincere congratulations to my 3 worthy colleagues, Trustee Tim Jamal, Jim Wright, and Barbara Jay on their re-election. And sincere congratulations and welcome to our newly elected board member, Trustee Carolyn Inman. I'll mention a few of the events I attended since our last board meeting: the CCLC virtual convention and the CCC Women's Caucus. The stadium tour led by Randy Torter when all of my fellow trustees attended with me. So everyone was very excited to see the stadium, and they were all incredibly impressed, and we can't wait for homecoming. The Saddleback College Book Club, I got to know some brilliant faculty members at the many book club meetings, and we met virtually. And some of the people in my book club were Pete Murray, Loma Hopkins, Donnie Minio, Jacqueline Zimbalist, Barry McCarthy, football coach Mark McElroy, Rita Sultanian, and dance professor Steve Rosa. And it was great. The Saddleback College Foundation at Home Gala, along with many other Saddleback lovers who are here, we supported Saddleback College students in their Fund a Need and other auctions. And the event brought in over $184,000 in donations to support Saddleback College students. And this was well above what they even projected. At the virtual Saddleback College plant sale, I ordered one of every plant, and the drive-through plant pickup was perfect. Among the hardworking Saddleback College volunteers that were loading the cars were horticulture professor Ken Lee, lab tech Tina Maldini, and the Saddleback College project manager Bruce Beardsley. When this plant sale raised over $5,000, with every dollar going to student scholarships, and the plants I purchased are just gorgeous. The Saddleback College International Film Festival showed the heart-wrenching movie Sarah's Key. It's the story of a very young Jewish girl's horrifying experiences during the German-occupied Paris in 1942. French professor Buchara Nadeau and Spanish professor Carmen Mara Hernandez Bravo led the discussion online, so kudos to these professors. And at our legislative task force meeting, we're gearing up and setting our priorities for the new legislative session. And we discussed who might be appointed to take the place of Kamala Harris and Javiera Becerra in the state of California, and what would happen with this musical chairs that might be happening with all those appointments that are being made. So that's my board report. And we're moving on to, the other oral reports. Yes?
Trustee Melchor, we need to hear from Trustee Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped Trustee Jay. I'm sorry, Trustee Jay. Thank you so much, Chancellor Burke. Trustee Jay, we'd love to hear your board report. I'm so sorry.
I'll be brief, okay? On November 18th, I attended that fantastic tour of the new Saddleback College Stadium. It was wonderful. It offers major enhancement to Saddleback's ability to serve the community. It was a wonderful tour. I learned so much. And Carolyn Inman, you need to take the tour. Okay, it's great. And invite me along. Okay, I participated also in the regular board policy meeting. And then I also attended the nursing pinning ceremony. There were 44 nurses that graduated. It was excellent in every way. The students, faculty, and staff did a great job in converting this ceremony to virtual. I'd seen the ceremony many times before, and I was just amazed at what they did to make the ceremony virtual. The Assistant Dean of Nursing, Dr. D. Oliveri, did a superior job in planning the event. And congratulations to Taylor Ninvikas for earning the Leadership in Nursing Award, and for Kylie Brunn for earning the Spirit and Nursing Award. These are wonderful awards, and wonderful graduates got them. My main thing, the IVC Foundation, for which I am the board representative, and albeit again, I'm so happy, has had a few exciting months. Since the beginning of the academic year, they have gotten their plan giving program off the ground. They have started the IVC Legacy Society, whose membership is composed of people who include IVC in their estate plans. Then also, I want to remind everybody, on March 13th, 2021, they will hold the IVC Foundation's Celebrating Excellence drive-through and live streaming event, which will take place of the Foundation's awards dinner. Plans are underway to make the event interactive and engaging. I hope you all can attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for your reports. Now we're going on to the other oral reports. First, student trustee Ethan Manafee. Do you have a report?
Yes. Hello. So first I want to congratulate the 3 trustees, actually 4 trustees, who were sworn today, and also welcome Trustee Inman. I have heard wonderful things about you, and I'm certain we're gonna benefit greatly from your input and your presence. And so I think like the past month has been pretty stressful and also exciting for our students who want to transfer to UCs and CSUs. The applications were due, and our students can finally relax and not worry about university applications for now. And I want to thank all the faculty who put some extra time in the past few weeks to write recommendation letters or to review like personal insight questions and supported our students through their transfer application process. I attended 2 meetings that I really want to talk about. First one was the Saddleback nursing pinning ceremony that other trustees talked about. It was very emotional, and just seeing all those families and hearing their stories, it literally brought me to tears. It was so powerful. I work with nurses at a hospital, and even in the most difficult situations, they always manage to communicate with the patients and have a smile on their faces. So I admire all the nurses, and I wish the best for all of our nursing graduates. Another meeting that was really amazing was IVC's Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society event. Basically, PTK had this event with the goal of bringing IVC community together. They had stress relief sessions. We drew together with all the faculty, staff, and students. The student and faculty gave tips on how to stay engaged virtually and how to manage your classes during a pandemic. And they also had representatives from EOPS and Student Equity to talk about IVC resources. And the most awesome part was that they had this virtual gallery that the students and faculty could submit the pictures of their friends, of their family, of their hobbies during the pandemic. And they made this gallery of like more than 100 pictures. You can check that online. It's very beautiful. And yeah, that was pretty good. That was very amazing. And lastly, I want to thank Dr. Stern and Dr. Hernandez. Both colleges published a student survey, and when they saw the results, they immediately took action based on the results. I think Saddleback saw that many of their students, they didn't have a stable Wi-Fi connection near the finals week. So they designated an area in the parking lot for students to be able to have access to Wi-Fi. I think no one's education should be jeopardized because they didn't have a stable Wi-Fi connection. So I really appreciate that. And also IVC saw that a very high percent of their students had food insecurity. So they offered packed meals before Thanksgiving. Such a beautiful gesture. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The colleges have done incredible things for the students during the pandemic, so I thank you for bringing that up. Really, it's very, very satisfying. And next we have the Associate Student Government Report. And first, it would be Adam Brownell from Saddleback, and then Brianna Ross from IVC. So is Adam here?
Hey, hi. Okay, so I have something to say about that. So I was in contact with Adam, and he sent his vice president to take his place because he's taking an exam right now. Could you please put Thomas Allard on the call? He's the vice president for the ASG.
Anne Marie, could you put Thomas?
Yes, I just did that. Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to go first, or do you want Thomas to go first? It doesn't matter.
I could go first while Thomas gets adjusted on here.
Thanks, Brianna.
Okay. So just first to say, ASIVC has really accomplished so much in just one semester, despite the circumstances we're in. Just what I can tell from previous years, we've really been a powerhouse this semester, even in an online environment. And to kind of recap, so we recently changed our structure from the spring to this fall. And that structure, what's very unique about it is that we allow for senators to be elected in the spring semester and also the fall semester. So we have two cohorts, and the fall semester is to allow first-year students to just jump right into campus activism. As a result, senators like Aisha Ahmed, who gave a public comment today, she's among the fall cohort of students. And you know, she's a part of the students that have never even stepped foot on campus, like many of our other students. And she was just able to jump right in and show her passion and enthusiasm. To recap on some events we held, so the first big event that we held this year was our virtual welcome week, which was at the beginning of the semester to kind of help students feel a sense of community, even though we're in a virtual environment. And then we also had our first ever virtual club day, and that was hosted by my dedicated vice president of ICC, who has fostered the growth of over 30 clubs on our campus, which is very impressive and super empowering. ASIVC has also been phenomenal in terms of shared governance. Our attendance to these committees is really unlike anything I've ever seen in the past 3 years I've been at IVC. And we really are in all corners of campus governance. We just have students going to every single meeting, and I think that's terrific. And in particular to that, our Senate has actually been the most active I've ever seen it be, in the academic Senate especially. And they're continuingly to share our perspectives in regards to things like false claims of cheatings that happen in a virtual environment, as well as privacy issues that occur with camera usage and requirement through Zoom. We've also continued our support to the mission of Guided Pathways. In fact, we'll be helping to host the Spring Guided Pathways Summit that our Guided Pathways completions team has helped us to kind of get on board with, because we really want to ensure that students are continuing to be the front and center of these conversations as far as completing your degree and getting all your goals accomplished here at IVC. I'm also especially thankful for my executive vice president, who has really helped me tremendously in terms of managing and operating ASIVC with this new structure. He served alongside me last year as a senator, and I'm just really excited to see those who have continued to stay with ASIVC, but then also have helped onboard new representatives from the campus to do their best to advocate as well. And this semester really has been different. I think we can all agree, but it really doesn't feel that much different from on campus, because the passion and the enthusiasm is still there. And it's still fostered here at IVC in ASIVC. And I think that we've been the most empowered that we ever been as a result. Lastly, I just want to announce that ASIVC has adopted the Retire the Gaucho resolution that was authored by Adam Brownell, my counterpart at Saddleback, as you know, because we want to express our desire to get rid of the distasteful and racist mascot. This is a very long process, longer than I believe is necessary. And I think it's really time to decolonize our education. Thank you. That's all for me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I just have to say that what you're doing for our students that are home and giving them a sense of community and having them work very hard. I know you're working very hard together, really will make all the difference to the students completing their education. So thank you so much. Okay. And then thank you. The next one is Thomas Allard from Saddleback College. You're speaking for Adam Brownell.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Allard. As was said before, I am the vice president of the Saddleback College Associated Student Government. I'll be reading a message Adam has prepared for everyone. So I'll begin. First and foremost, congratulations, Trustee Milchiker. So I have a few things to report. I'm not sure if everyone is aware of the Hall, but my VP and I were invited to be a part of an interview conducted by President Stern to talk about our online experiences, and we both had a fantastic time. I actually walked quite jealous of how fun the hall was for the faculty and staff. So we've decided to host our own for the student body. And since we've been talking about retaining a sense of community quite extended this year, I'm really excited to see this come to fruition. We've also had the opportunity to allocate a significant amount to the Physics Club for their annual Rover project. We're extremely proud of our clubs, and it is such a blessing that we can still take part in a project of this nature albeit socially distanced and virtual. Additionally, ASG has allocated a substantial amount to scholarships this semester, and with the scholarship applications opening on January 4th, we're going to be working with the foundation to help size. I actually received a scholarship last year, so I'm going to be doing a personal video that we'll send out. Also, ASG partnered with EOPS to create Helping Hands, which is a program to provide families with gifts and food during the holiday season. We had 29 amazing donors who helped us assist 21 families. Of those families, we have a total of 46 kids who will receive presents. We started distributing the gifts today with a pickup location on campus. Lastly, I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for their public comments. I want it to be known that ASG stands in solidarity. We want nothing more than to retire the gaucho. Thank you for your time, and I hope everyone stays safe over the holidays. I'll see you all when we return. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. I believe Adam Brownell was one of the people in the video that they showed at the foundation gala, and he did a great job. So thank you so much. You're really doing a lot for our students, and distributing these holiday gifts to those children is wonderful. So thanks. Okay. And next it would be Irvine Valley College Academic Senate, June McLaughlin, Professor McLaughlin.
Thank you. Good evening and hello, newly constituted board. So proud of our students, faculty, and all those who gave public comments tonight. Just a couple of announcements and then some thank yous. ASIVC has asked the IVC Academic Senate to also adopt the Retire the Gaucho resolution passed by pretty much everyone at this point. So in a show of solidarity, that will occur at a academic senate meeting in January 2021. All I have left are some thank yous. I would like to thank the entire IVC executive team for showing up in such a big way this semester. Dr. Hernandez and Dr. Martha McDonald were hired entirely remotely, and I observed that by the end of this semester, everyone was working seamlessly, which is a testament to Dr. Hernandez's leadership. Several of our executive team were evacuated, and at least one executive was evacuated twice during the fires. And so we're grateful that everyone is safe and wishing them all a restful break. I would like to also recognize and thank IVC's IT department. Nick Wilkening, thank you for your leadership and for the magic your team was able to create this entire year. District also accomplished so many projects, and many were completed this semester. And I wanted to thank everyone at District for keeping the wheels on the bus, but also for creating all the new things that have been needed as we continue to serve students remotely. Finally, I must recognize and thank the IVC Academic Senate. I want to thank faculty and student senators for being so active and engaged in all the discussions we've had this semester. I want to thank my Senate cabinet and the extended cabinet that we created in order to make sure we had all the input we needed to make good decisions on behalf of faculty. I want to thank everyone for the hard work that they did on top of the teaching. Thank you so very much, and best of luck to faculty with grading, and have a good break. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And next, I'm not sure if he's here, but Saddleback College Academic Senate, Professor Blake Stevens, is he here? No?
No, Blake had to leave already.
Okay, he was at the stadium tour. And then Faculty Association President, Professor Lewis Long.
Hi. I'd like to follow my colleagues and the previous speakers in congratulating the new officers of the board and our new trustee, Carolyn Inman. I have a very short report. As we're winding up the first fully online fall semester, and as my colleagues are working very hard to get through it and so they can get to the holidays and get their students' grades turned in, we're looking forward to the spring semester, and we will be having our all faculty meeting on Tuesday, January 12th from 1 to 2:30. Thank you to the cooperation of the college presidents from Saddleback College and IVC. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Thank you. And then the next, Irvine Valley College Classified Senate, Amy Hunter. Hi,
Yes.
Amy.
Good evening, Marcia Milchecker. Nice to, congratulations on your presidency. Congratulations to our new Board of Trustees and re-elected trustees, and congratulations to the officer elections. And thank you, TJ Prendergast, for your service as president. Since our last meeting, we've coordinated our first ever virtual 5K, which included various levels of employees individually participating on their own walk, trot, run to fund. And we were able to raise $860 for student scholarships. Many thanks to our Classified Senate fundraising committee who had to think outside the box during this time. And we also exceeded our goals for scholarship fundraising for this fall. On December 10th, Irvine Valley College was featured along with Sacramento City and Riverside City community colleges in the IEBC Caring Campus webinar. I represented IVC as a panelist and spoke about our accomplishments and how we have evolved our campus into a caring campus culture at IVC. We've developed and produced our own commitments, our new commitments to support our students, employees, and community in their success. There were 455 participants on the call. I'd like to take this time to thank and recognize all our 200 IVC classified professionals and our IVC Classified Senate for their commitment and dedication to the Caring Campus program this entire year since fall 2019. Without everyone's involvement, this could not be possible. And I'd like to thank President Hernandez, our IVC Guided Pathways program, our faculty and managers for their support and engagement in the program as we continue to shape the caring culture at IVC. We are planning our spring 2021 Professional Development Week. We'll have a panel session featuring classified professionals discussing our work and professional development opportunities in diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as we'll have a general meeting. And on that note, I wish to extend a heartfelt wish to everyone for a restful and joyful winter break.
Thank you. I think your IVC Classified Senate Caring Campus program is wonderful. So thank you. Okay, thank you. Next, we'll have Saddleback College Classified Senate President Darren England. Darren, are you here?
No, he's not here, Trustee Milchecker.
Then we have California School Employees Association, newly elected Scott Ferguson Green. Are you here?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Welcome, Trustee Inman and all the trustees who were sworn in tonight as officers. I wanted to take a special notice of Amy Hunter, who is our Classified Senate President at IVC. What a wonderful leader she's been. And considering all the challenges of 2020, she has come through so much and doing so much to help our classified and to work in cooperation with management and administration. And I am really proud of the work that she's done as a leader. I just wanted to wish everyone the very happiest of the winter holidays. And though this year the holidays have been very challenging and will be different this time around, more than any time in the last 100 years. Not even a pandemic can damper the spirit of the holidays with the lights and the music and the cheers. So here's to hoping that we have a much more fruitful 2021, and that once again, we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good message. Thank you. And the next, is the Police Officers Association here or not? It'd be Bo.
No, they are not.
Okay. So thank you so much for the reports. And next, we're moving forward to our discussion item today, which is item 4.0, the Saddleback College Athletic and Irvine Valley College Athletic CCCAA opt-in, opt-out presentation. We're talking about whether we should be recommending for our athletic program in the spring right now when we don't know what's going to be happening in the spring. So it'll be interesting to hear the presentation. I'm looking forward to it. So Chancellor, do you want to handle, do you take over right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
So while Vice Chancellor Gable is bringing the presentation up on the screen, I will just remind you all that earlier in the year, the CCCAA, which is the California Community College Athletics Association, made a decision to postpone all of the fall sports until the spring because of the spread of the pandemic in the fall. When they made that decision, little did they know that we would be at a crisis point right now, worse than the crisis point in which they made their original decision. And so we are faced with, they broke the sports up into two parts of the spring semester, a phase 1 and a phase 2. And we have to send our indication of whether or not we will be participating in any of the fall sports, which would begin around January 18th, by the end of this week. So before we submit that paperwork, the president and I wanted to share with you the process that we went through in making this decision, the considerations we made. This would be similar to what we did in making the decisions around the fall semester, staying remote, and the spring semester, staying remote, looking at the data, looking at the science, and then making a decision that we think is best for our students. So if we could go to the next slide. So we begin with the principles for COVID planning, and this has remained the same every time we face a decision like this. We consider the health and safety of our students and employees first, then the health and safety of their loved ones and family and the people with whom they live, the continuity of learning with integrity, equity, in this case, for all students and programs, because remember, athletics is one program within a college and a campus of multiple programs. And then finally, the support of our regional economy and workforce. So with that as a background, I will turn it over to the president for the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Chancellor Burke. As has been stated, part of what we want to do today is to provide an overview of the CCC 2A framework. But before that, I wanted just to take a moment and distinguish conditioning and training from competition. As you are aware, since mid-October, both colleges had returned our student athletes so that they could participate in face-to-face conditioning and training as part of their athletic classes. Just as a side note, I want to just mention, based on observations that I made as well as conversations with our coaches, athletic deans, and athletic trainers, the bringing back of our athletes for conditioning had such a positive impact both on their mental health and their academic success, especially when you think about the community building that happens for student athletes, many whom were first-year students, and for the very first time were meeting their peers, their coaches, and their athletic trainers. And certainly it helped reduce the sense of isolation that so many of our students are experiencing. But today we're not talking about conditioning. We're talking rather about the CCC 2A, the Statewide Athletic Association's framework for intercollegiate athletic competition. And as Chancellor Burke just mentioned, in November, the CCC 2A in essence voted to maintain the recommendations they made in the summer, which is to move all of the fall sports to spring semester. And they in essence created two segments, spring 1 and spring 2, with 30% reduction in contests. Additionally, as has been stated, we have till December 18th to make a decision to opt in or opt out for segment 1, and then later in February for segment 2. It's also important to note that each college sponsors its sports on an individual basis, as there may be some circumstances that could prevent an institution from sponsoring some sports while permitting others to continue. The spring one, just to give you a sense of the schedule, practice would begin January 18th. Competition would begin on February 5th. The season for spring one would end April 6th, and then regional postseason would take place April 10th through the 17th. The spring two session, as has been stated, is a little later in the spring. The practice would begin March 27th, competition begin April 10th, and the season would conclude on June the 12th. Next slide.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. We'll try to get the slide up for you while I'm speaking, but I think I'm familiar enough with the slides to wing it if need be. Good evening, everybody. I want to emphasize the point that President Hernandez was making about the dates that would begin on January 18th for spring one. Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Gable. January 18th is a firm date from 3C2A. If we opt in, it says that we're ready to go with practice, that is in contact sports included, for those that are opted in by January 18th. We have no option of pushing it back or deciding on January 18th what we want to do. The opt-in date that we must make this decision by is this Friday. So here's where we are today. I get to be the doomsayer today, but it's based on data and science, not my opinion, as we have tried to make decisions and keep you abreast of the goings on throughout this crisis. So the situation in our country and our state and our region would best be described without overstatement as dire. We are in a third wave that is far more serious and is far more grave than any in the past. Slide. So when we say, what will the conditions be like in January 18th, some might say, well, we don't know, we have to wait and see. That's not really true. We've been looking at data and probability modeling throughout this crisis. We have a pretty good sense for what things would be like for the entire wave of spring one, which would begin on January 18th and run roughly through the end of March. So if we look just where we are in the Southern California region that's been demarcated for the new tiering system, we can see that hospitalizations and death in the dotted line are showing where we were up to a week ago when we put this slide together for you and what's projected over the next few weeks into January. The slope of that particular incline is higher. It is higher than it has been throughout this crisis. Thank you, Anne-Marie. And that slope is a function slide of what's called the RF. Next slide, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much. RF is an indication of how fast the disease is spreading. And you can see up at the dashed purple line at the top, relative to the counties around us, we have the highest rate of transmission. Even though Los Angeles, which is shown in the shaded gray dotted line just beneath us, has been in the national news as a hotspot, it turns out that our lovely Orange County has a higher rate of transmission right now than even Los Angeles, meaning that the steepness of that curve by which we're entering this wave is even more steep than it is in Los Angeles. The proof of that doesn't require us to look very far. When we put this data together for you, we were just hitting for the first time 2,000 cases a day. Yesterday, we hit 3,000 cases today and duplicated it again with 3,000 new cases again today. So our situation is quite grave. Next slide. If we look where we'll be on January 18th and into the proposed spring one sports, we can do probability modeling. And what probability modeling shows is the current wave that's shown in red at the highest curve. That's the one that doesn't show any interventions whatsoever. And you can see that that runs all the way into March. So the idea that we would be playing contact sports and have students on our campuses in high-risk activities is essentially unthinkable. You might say, well, what if we have interventions? We're under very strict orders right now. The various interventions are shown in the lower graphs. And this is what's meant by flattening the curve. When you flatten the curve, you lower the number of people who get the disease and you lower the number of hospitalizations and death to keep those from exhausting your healthcare capacity. But the duration of the wave is roughly unchanged. It doesn't change much at all. So if you look at January 18th, where we'll be on January 18th, we will just be still on the upward trajectory, maybe if we're lucky, peaking at that point and hitting a plateau. But we will still be at the highest rate of transmission in the history of the pandemic in Orange County, and it will take probably 1 to 2 months to come down from that, which runs the entire length of the Spring 1 competition and practice that we're being asked to opt in or opt out. Dr. Hernandez.
Thank you. Next slide. It's important to note that when colleges make a commitment to opt in, we are in essence agreeing to adhere to the testing requirements that have been set forth by the California Department of Public Health as well as the NCAA. Each sport has been designated as low, intermediate, or high risk. And depending on the classification, there are very specific requirements for when testing should occur, meaning out of season, in season, during competition, as well as how often testing should occur, or in other words, the frequency and the type of test. So just to give you an example, a high-risk outdoor sport in season requires testing 100% of student athletes and personnel weekly, either by PCR testing or daily by antigen testing, as well as competition testing is required 48 hours before every contest. So there is a pretty complex flow chart that has all the details of when the testing occurs, how often it occurs, and then designated by low, intermediate, or high-risk sports. And so what we've done is our athletic staff have helped us to project what is the cost of testing for both Spring 1 and Spring 2. And it's important to note that we've done this on a range of a low minimum to a high maximum. And again, you can see the cost on this particular slide. And it's important to note that this is just the cost of testing alone. It does not include personnel costs. And we know that if we were doing the type of testing that's required, we would probably need to have and add additional personnel to assist with testing, tracking, and reporting. And so again, this is just the actual cost of the testing. Next slide.
President Hernandez, can I just add one thing for Saddleback?
Thank you, Elliot. I was just looking at my note to have you jump in and I missed it.
No worries, we got it down. I just want to add simply that these figures, the $280,000 to $500,000 range for Saddleback, is not money that I have available anywhere. It's not money that's available from CARES funding, which is largely encumbered at this point or completely spent. And it's money that would be spent for one-time testing that wouldn't be spent to buy athletic equipment or theater equipment or arts equipment or invest in new program development. It would be strictly to pay for tests to bring sports back for the Spring 1 and Spring 2 periods. And by the way, for us, John, you may want to comment on IVC. There is almost no testing involved in Spring 2 because those are non-contact sports, as President Hernandez explained. So this is really all testing expense for Spring 1 for us.
Yeah. So Spring 1 sports, as has been mentioned, there are 12. If you look on the left-hand side, 7 of those 12 have been designated as high risk, and 2 of those 12 have been designated as intermediate risk. However, golf is categorized as low risk, as you can imagine, given the nature of the sport. It's outdoors. It allows for physical distancing as well as mask wearing. Next slide. So the recommendation at this point is based on the data and the modeling that Dr. Stern just went over of where we believe we will be in mid-January when Spring 1 competition is scheduled to begin. We're only recommending opting in for women's golf at Saddleback College for the first segment of Spring 1. Next slide. Spring 2 is a little further away, so we have some time. to really hold off making a decision till the end of February. And as Dr. Stern just mentioned, the spring 2 decision, in addition to being later, there's only 2 of the 12 sports in that segment that are high risk. And the remaining spring 2 sports are low to intermediate risk. So I think we're remaining optimistic and hopeful that for the spring 2 segment, we might be able to have the level of participation, assuming that conditions are safe for us to be able to do that. And just as a side note too, you know, we're not necessarily alone. There are conferences and districts that are already starting to see, we're starting to see the domino effect of different colleges, districts, and conferences publicly coming out, indicating that they're going to opt out for spring 1 for all of the same reasons that I think we've been reviewing with you today. And I think with that, we're available for questions.
So any questions from the board member?
Yes, I have a question. So Elliot, you addressed part of my question. I was going to ask you when you raised the issue of CARES Act funding for the testing itself. So 2 questions. Are we really spent on the CARES Act funding? And number 2, there's a decent chance there's going to be another, CARES Act 2 bill that may come out. So would that, if there's funding available on that, would that still not change the calculation if we were to get additional funding in a CARES Act 2 relief bill?
Great question. So first, as to the available COVID money, and by that I refer generically to both CARES Act money and the state block money that contain both national and state dollars. Your report tonight in the docket shows where we are in expenditures. It doesn't show where we are in encumbrances. So we still have expenses that haven't been taken away from the funds, even though they are encumbered. So what I have left after encumbrances at this point, Trustee Jamal, is not anywhere near sufficient to pay for $500,000 in testing. Second point, if there was a bill that came out, that would be great. But the latest that I've been reading, and I'm no legislative expert or advocate or lobbyist here, is that it no longer includes funding for school reopenings, which was something that had been advocated for in earlier iterations. So while I'm hopeful that there will be money to allow us to open safely when we do, I doubt it's going to be available in time for us to make this decision. And I have to tell you, I think we would make this decision based on safety being paramount, regardless of the cost. But we wanted to share that consideration with you.
And if I could jump in, at IVC, we had set aside $100,000 of our unencumbered CARES Act for potential testing. Again, that could be for students. So that could partially underwrite the full cost. The projections that we shared with you in the prior slide was for both spring 1 and spring 2. As has been stated, we just couldn't even begin to think how we would be under safe conditions for spring 1. But for spring 2, again, because they are less really intermediate to almost all low risk sports, we have those calculations, and the spring 2, our low minimum is about 28,000. The projection, the high is about 95. So the spring 2 testing requirements would be more in line with the funds that we have set aside, assuming again that conditions are such that it does allow us to participate in spring 2.
I appreciate, thank you both. Hey, Emery, can you go just one slide forward? So John or Elliot, what are the low to intermediate risk sports? Obviously women's golf. I don't see that delineated on this list. What's considered intermediate? Am I missing it?
We haven't put those on there, but we do have Randy Tutorp with us, and I don't know if we have Shaq with us. Anne Marie, if you can find.
Yeah, they're both queued up.
Perfect.
And Elliot, I do have the list in the spring 1. Other than women's golf, men's and women's cross country are considered low risk. Men and women's basketball is considered high, football high, women's volleyball high, water polo high, wrestling high. It is quite the reverse in the spring too. But if our athletic deans are available and they wanted to address it beyond that, I think we should allow.
So maybe they can address the cross-country decision, not to move forward with cross-country. That would be helpful.
Do Randy or Keith, would you like to speak?
Irvine Valley College does not sponsor a competition in cross-country for either gender.
I see.
It's moot for us.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be me. So after careful conversation with our cross-country coaches and looking at basically thinking through what Elliot shared regarding the trend that's happening through December and January, and really an inadequate ability to prepare during the fall, part one of the issue for cross-country is being prepared to participate in any kind of segment during spring one. Additionally, a lot of our cross-country athletes are really dual sport athletes. They're really track and field athletes in general. And so the coaches believe it's in the best interest, both for scholarship and transfer, to focus on what is likely the more probable scenario of a season, which would be the spring 2 track and field season. So that way they can utilize that period of time to properly prepare, not make a transition from a different form of training of cross-country running into track and field. And you might be thinking, well, cross-country runners do that all the time. They go from cross-country to track and field. But there's a big difference. Cross-country runners are usually fully training during the summer for a fall season of competition with a nice winter break in between the two segments to then properly go into an off-season preparation into track and field. The current model right now of cross-country and track is you compete in cross-country all the way through April 17th, while the track season effectively starts on April 10th. So you're finishing cross-country while track is starting without really adequate preparation. And listen, I'm not a runner. I actually don't like running that much. I prefer being in the ocean. But there's quite a big difference, and to be able to make that transition without any opportunity to rest and move into the different form of training is a big deal.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you have to decide by Friday about the spring 1 session, and then you have until February 26th to decide about spring 2. Is that correct? So we have some time to determine spring 2. So
Correct.
I would say it's better to be cautious personally right now when their numbers are higher than they've ever been since COVID began. Do you feel that women's golf is safe enough for the women's golfing team?
It's about as safe a sport as you could possibly imagine, assuming there's no sharing of clubs or balls, because there's no surface contact. It's easy to wear a mask. They're socially distanced and they're outside. So they have absolutely everything going for them in terms of safety precautions. President Milchiker.
Okay, excellent. And I also, of course, have been, being a research biologist, as you know, we read about all this latest information coming out, the vaccinations, and there's a lot of talk about really inexpensive testing materials. I know, that you could test daily and they're made out of paper, and it's still in the, they haven't manufactured many of them yet, but perhaps some of those will become available by February 26th. I mean, they're very inexpensive. The accuracy is about 70 or 80%. And if one of the tests comes out positive, they have some false positives, you take another test. And then by the second time, if it's accurate or not. So it gives you an opportunity to test very reasonably a huge group of people. It's more of an epidemiological test than an individual test. So something to look forward to, I think.
Indeed, lots of good things on the horizon.
That's right. So are there any other questions?
I think student trustee has a question, Marcia.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't see you. Ethan?
All right. So I want to make sure I understand this. So the spring 1 section is actually fall sports, right?
Correct.
Yes. Good. Okay. All right. Because when I look at this schedule, I just wish some of the spring 2 sports could move to spring 1, but we can't do that. So when I see this agenda item, I contacted some of the student athletes I know, and the biggest comment that I got from them, the biggest concern was that there's a 2-year limit on student athletes being a player in athletic team. And I just wanted to know if they're not going to compete this year, have their names been turned in as a player, or can they, like, if they're a second-year student and they're going to say a third year, can they still compete next year?
I'm going to ask Randy or Shaq to answer the waivers question.
Hi, Ethan.
Hi.
So much of what we do with our student athletes is predicated by the governing bodies of those institutions to which they transfer, meaning the NCAA and NAIA.
Mhm.
Those that are most competent transfer to Division I institutions at the NCAA level. It means they have a 5-year lifespan of competition once they enroll as a full-time student. The NCAA is providing waivers for last year's spring sports and this year's fall sports, so that's any season of competition or time spent with us does not count against them. They're being advised on a case-by-case basis, even whether they should be enrolled as a full-time student at any given moment because of the number of semesters that might be involved. So frequently, they will remain full-time students for considerations that have nothing to do with athletics. Are they still on their family's health insurance plan? And that would require full-time enrollment. Is there a good driver's discount for the car insurance? That requires full-time enrollment. So we bring all that data to the table for each of our student athletes and then assist them in making a decision that's best for them. Some of our student athletes will move on after this year. And although they may have eligibility with us, our counsel is for them to go because opportunity is present at the next level. There's so little for them to do academically. They've already been with us for a couple of years. And so it's a case-by-case basis. We're taking good care of our student athletes academically, athletically, in terms of their mental well-being on a case-by-case basis.
Good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, Ethan, and our student athletes and coaches know at Saddleback, and Keith knows, I sit on the statewide COVID work group. And among many concerns, health and safety being number one, I would say the second is our student athletes' opportunities. And so I share in the same concern. And we are constantly trying to work with the NCAA and NAIA to mitigate some of these challenges regarding waivers and progress towards degree, and in every circumstance possible, work with our students to be able to transfer. So they are real concerns, and our students have a good reason to be, mindful of this, but we are doing everything we can to help them manage this process and this circumstance.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. So are there any closing comments from the Chancellor?
No, we just wanted to share this information with you and the data we looked at to make it.
Yeah, thank you for all the data and for all the research you've done and all the work you do to help our student athletes. I know they get a wonderful experience at Saddleback and Irvine Valley College. They really do. So thank you very much.
Marcia, I think Jim wants to say something.
Oh, Jim, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marcia, we've got to extend the meeting. I think we're probably going to take at least another hour.
Okay.
I moved that we go for another hour.
Okay. And do you want to put in a break, like a 5-minute break, or how long of a break do you want to put in? Because I know people get Zoom fatigue,
Let's do a 10-minute break. Let's go till 9. Yeah.
Okay, 10-minute break, and then you're extending for another hour. Okay, is there a second for that?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No, Marcia.
Yes, no?
Marcia, you have to let Grace do a roll call.
Okay, thanks. Grace, can you do a roll call?
Yes. Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Day.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student Trustee Monacy.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So the meeting's adjourned and we will come back in 10 minutes. So 3 minutes after 9, okay?
Recess, yes.
Right now, we're on the consent calendar, right? So,
Correct, yes.
okay, are there any items that any board member would like to pull from the consent calendar? Trustee Wright,
Yes, I would like to pull 5.9.
5.9, okay. And are there any other ones? So is there a motion to?
I so move.
You move to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 5.9?
Correct.
Okay.
I second.
Is there a second? So
I second.
Trustee Wright made the motion and Trustee Rydell seconded it. I think we have to have Grace call the roll for approval, right? Is that correct? That is correct, okay.
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milford,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Muted. You're muted, Trustee Prendergast.
I think he's sleeping. Trustee Prendergast?
There he is.
Muted.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
We're voting on the consent calendar.
I'm sorry, I had my volume off because there was feedback noise.
Okay. Okay, so do you say aye for voting on the consent calendar?
Yes.
Aye, okay, great, excellent.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Student Trustee Modesty.
Aye.
Okay, the consent calendar is approved. And right now we're going to item 5.9. And Trustee Wright, do you want to say why
Yes.
you pulled it off?
Yeah, I was concerned about 5.9. There was something in there talking about the Glacier Communications Incorporated as part of 5.9. And that happens to be in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Is there a reason for that?
Is there a reason to?
Yes. Yeah, so Glacier Communications, they specialize in outreach to high school students. They are well known throughout the United States, even though they are in Canada. And so the recommendation is that we use them specific to the outreach for high school students that may be trying to come to a community college district. And all of these entities will be used on an as-needed basis, and we'll get proposals for them, our estimates on what the fees will be, and then we will be approving the fees on the purchase order listing for each type of task or direction that we go with them on for the marketing efforts.
Okay.
And that's why they provided us with a list of marketing consulting companies. Is that correct? Use them as.
Correct.
Okay, excellent, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, do you?
Marsha, I just had another question. Who are these firms reporting to the colleges? Is that how it's structured?
They will primarily be used by the colleges, but if it's something that we need district-wide, they will be available district-wide as well. So it's kind of, we're creating a bench of firms that we can use and reach out to for the various needs related to marketing and outreach.
Yeah, it sounds pretty vague, but I guess if they're on as needed basis.
Yes, it's on an as-needed basis, and we did the full RFP process. And as you can see, all of their rates are, well, 3 out of the 5 firms have the same rate, and then the other 2 firms have a little bit lower rate per hour.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So then, you know, let's say that one of the colleges wanted to use a marketing firm, they would go to this list and look at the rates and look at the recommendations and choose one. Is that the way these this list of marketing firms is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they could potentially reach out to a couple of them and say, give me a quote on how long you think it would take, and then they could pick, you know, between those. But what this will do, it will lock in these rates for a 5-year period.
Oh.
So they will, you know, so I think that's the benefit of it, is that these rates are going to be locked in for 5 years for us.
Excellent. Okay, great. Okay, thanks. Is that okay? Do you want to make a motion to approve the agenda item, Trustee Wright?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, thanks. Do you want to do a roll call, Grace, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Great.
Trustee Wright,
We just lost him. He's not here.
Who you made the motion?
He made the motion, so I'm sure he'd say aye.
Yes.
Student Trustee Monacy,
Aye.
Wait.
So it passes anyway. So, oh, there he is.
Trustee Wright,
Trustee Wright, do you have?
Yes, I got pulled off for some reason.
No, we lost you for a minute, but you're back.
Yeah, I'm here, I'm there.
That's good. So that item passes, and now we're moving to the general action items. We've completed the consent calendar. And the first item is 6.1, which is from Saddleback College Advanced Technology Applied Science Building, the ATAS building project. This is geotechnical investigation and material testing and special inspection service amendment to approve this building.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Are there any, does staff want to say anything about this particular building? About this agenda item? What they're doing is they're increasing the contract amount for by $406,000 for a new agreement, and they're extending the contract duration from December 29th to June 30th. And this is because of the soils underneath the building. They needed to have further geotechnical investigation and material testing for the soils. So is there anything else you want to say, or do?
Well, I think the additionally is we had additional soils tests that was needed when we added the scope to construct the new connector road, as well as the new parking lot that is going in, and the safety netting system. So we did add additional scope to this project, which required some extensive geotechnical testing that was necessary.
So since we probably won't be back in the spring semester, it probably won't make a huge difference, it seems, anyway, if the building isn't completed by that time. So do you want to call the roll? It was approved by Trustee Jamal and seconded. Who seconded it? I didn't write it down.
I did.
So Trustee Gray, okay.
okay,
So,
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
Student Trustee Monacy.
Aye.
And the next item is 6.2. It's a professional agreement with Perkins Eastman Dougherty. And this relates to the Saddleback College beautification project, which I'm pretty excited about. I love having a beautiful campus. And it has to do with, it's actually being improved by the district-wide standards, but the beautification is taking place at Saddleback College. And actually we're approving the consultant's name changed to Perkins Easton Architects, and authorize the Vice Chancellor of Business Services or designated to execute that amendment, changing the designee's name.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, are there any comments to be made on this, or?
Yes, I would like to comment. I concur with your remarks, Marcia, about the importance of this. My only, and I think this is great, and I understand it's going well, which is also good news. My question was, is this as part of the beautification, does it include, Elliot, the Marguerite entrance at College Drive that we recently purchased from the Mormon Church?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it
All right.
includes, I can tell you, if you want to know all the areas that it includes the entry from Medical Center, the area around parking lot 13, it's the Library Road entry, the Fine Arts Circle, the campus entry from Marguerite, the Avery entry, the slope above the Child Development Center, and then kind of a unified approach in order for us to upgrade our campus irrigation controller system.
Great.
All right, very good.
Good.
So, so it was Tim. You approved it, and who did the second?
I moved it, and Jim seconded.
Tim and Jim. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, write it down from now on. Good. Okay, Grace, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Melchior,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
and Trustee Mossy.
Aye.
Okay, and item 6.3, which is the first of two grants. It's a grant agreement from the Board of Governors of the California Community Colleges Chancellor's Office. And we're getting, it's for stronger mental health connections for student success, which is so important these days more than ever. And we're actually getting from the State Chancellor's Office an award of $500,000, $250,000 for IVC and $250,000 for Saddleback College.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, so Trustee Jay moves approval, and Trustee Wright seconds it. So can you please call the roll? Are there any comments first? No, this is a good, nice to get grants. Okay.
I'd just like to comment that it was very kind who wrote this. Yeah, Jeannie Harris Caldwell. It was very nice to have written this grant. It's a sizable amount of money, and I believe we're sharing it with IVC.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Great job to Jeannie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. And our students really do need mental health. You know,
We all need
support. Everyone needs mental health support right about now, right? Okay, so do you want to call the roll, please, Grace?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Melchior,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
and Trustee Mossy.
Aye.
So it passes. And the next one is another grant agreement from the U.S. Department of Education. And it's for, yes? And it's for developing Hispanic serving institutions, or DHSI. And as you know, Saddleback College has been granted the title of an Hispanic serving institution. That's very exciting. So this is to approve the grant from the U.S. Department of Education for developing Hispanic serving institutions, and it's a Title V grant in the award of $3 million. So pretty exciting. I'm very delighted that we're getting this grant. So thank you. So did Anne Marie want to talk about this grant, or?
Well, let's move it first, and maybe we can, or
Okay.
ask
I so
questions.
move.
I move.
Who said that?
I did.
Okay, Trustee Whit Rydell, and Trustee Jay, I think, seconded it, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did. Who
I
seconded it?
second it.
Okay, and Trustee Inman seconded it. Okay. Are there any comments or questions?
I had a comment. So first of all, great job getting the grant.
Yeah.
This is a pretty significant amount of funding. And so congratulations for those who were involved in doing that. I just wanted to know if someone could just offer a brief summary of what the grant is supposed to do. Who's going to lead it? Who's the principal officer? And are we going to be hiring additional consultants to implement the grant? It's always good to get grant money. So that's good. Just have some questions.
There will be some consultants because we'll have to hire an external evaluator.
I didn't quite hear all that. Can you say that again?
Yes, I said there will be some consultants because you have to hire an external evaluator who cannot be a district employee.
Right.
To ensure that you're expending the funds appropriately.
And I have promoted Elliot so that he can discuss it in more depth.
Happy to do so. And while I'm doing so, Vice Chancellor Gable, can I ask you to find Nick Perry, if she's out there, and let her in because she may want to add to some of this. Thank you for the recognition for the grant. This is the work of our brilliant grants team and Nicola Perry, who in her day job is our Strategic Enrollment Management Director, but who also has been involved in HSI grants before and helped write this Title V grant based on a template that she had developed at another college. The grant basically helps us recruit and make successful students from underrepresented populations with a focus on Hispanic students. It does so by a very innovative means where we create completion teams to make sure that the student is handed off and has a continuous seamless experience through the college by individuals that know his or her name and interact with them and serve as their success coaches and peers. It involves almost all parts of the college, not just student services, but faculty at the instructional level. It includes professional development and other activities. Nick Perry will actually be heading up the grant in addition to writing it. And we are hiring in various areas, including a success coach, but also part-time people that will be hiring to, for instance, monitor the grant, report out activities, support our institutional research efforts, and the like. And with that, if I can ask Nick, if you found her, Anne Marie, if she wants to add anything.
Hi,
Yeah, I promote.
I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Stern. I wanted to just quickly kind of fill in any other pieces that might be have not been answered yet. There is the external evaluation, that is correct. The Vice Chancellor is correct. There's $10,000 allocated annually to have the external evaluation completed by a party that as you're saying, confirms that you're spending accordingly, et cetera. And as Dr. Stern was alluding to, the grant actually, the strategies that we have written into the grant actually build on proven smaller programs that we've been building and finding great success with. For example, our Promise program has shown great outcomes with some success coaches, and we've actually expanded on that in a way that we can expand access by hiring bilingual enrollment coaches, because we find that where our first generation students struggle is enrolling in the college successfully. We get a lot of families that get stuck. Also, part of what we're going to be offering as part of this grant are financial literacy education sessions for the family so that they understand the value and also the cost of their student going to college and how we can support them through local and federal opportunities. So we're really excited. We are kicking off with our HSI Advisory Committee first meeting in the spring, and we really aim to have our completion teams in place and ready to welcome a new fall batch of students, including data coaching with our faculty. We're going to be doing training this spring semester. The whole entire campus is engaged and excited, and we have a really strong partnership in place with Academic Senate, and we just couldn't be happier right now.
Oh, thank you so much.
So Nick, can I just ask a quick follow-up to you on that?
Sure.
Sounds really great. So my understand that deals only with existing students, like the funds are not used to recruit new students, right?
Actually, not at all. It is a 5 years going forward. So some of the pieces that we have in place have been shown to be successful with our existing students, but it's for the next 5 years. So our outcomes are really written based on 17-18 baseline, but we have until 24-25 to reach our 5-year outcomes. So it's absolutely going to be about addressing our students going forward.
Great.
Okay, great.
I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Thank you, Nick.
And thank you, Nick. Thank you, President.
My
Stark.
pleasure. Thank you.
Very exciting to get such a nice grant and be able to serve our Hispanic population. That's great.
And to be an HSI.
Yeah, that's wonderful, actually. That is. It's really a great thing to be finally called an HSI. It's about time, That's great. Thank you. And then the next item, we
have to vote.
Okay.
We have to vote.
Okay, Grace, can you please call the roll? Thank you. Congratulations, by the way.
Aye.
Trustee Day.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milford.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Marcy.
Aye.
Okay, and our next item is 6.5, which is board policies, a number of board policies. And the board policies have to do with faculty salary classification changes, student fee refunds, transcripts, collective bargaining, enrollment, and fee reimbursement for eligible employees. Are there any, is there a?
I so move.
Okay, Jim.
I second.
Okay, so Jim Wright moved and Bobby J second. Are there any questions or concerns? I know that there are very apt, board policy committee has reviewed all these already. So do you have any comments or any questions? Okay, they look pretty, I mean, I read them all and they all seem well done. So.
I actually had a question.
So, Grace, would you like to call the roll, please?
No, there's a question.
Oh, there's a question. Who has a question?
I did. So I think it's exhibit B. Let me check. Yeah, so exhibit B. I think it mentions refund twice. Like in the first paragraph, it says the district may adjust, waive, or partially refund the fees, and then again at the end it says the district shall refund the student fees in accordance with applicable federal and state laws. I think it kind of like mentions it twice.
And Marie, do you know? Because I think you helped write these. Do you know why it's mentioned twice?
No.
Well, in the first instance, where it's just a statement saying that we may adjust, waive, or partially refund the fee as provided in law. And then it's more of a statement saying that we shall refund the fees in accordance with applicable federal state laws and the regulations and district policies and regulations. So the second instance is a little bit more in depth and controlling.
All right. Okay.
Okay, you okay with that? Well,
Hmm.
thanks for picking it up. Okay, Grace, can you call the roll, please?
Sure. Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Day,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Monacy.
Aye.
And thank you. And the next item, which is 6.6, I'm going to send to trustee Pendergast because that has to do with the hearing and I don't have any of the wording for the hearing. So perhaps, do you want to handle the initial proposal and then the adoption of the district proposal 6.6 and 6.7?
I can hand 7 back over to you.
Okay, great.
But we are now at board agenda item 6.6 regarding a public hearing on the South Orange County Community College District's initial proposal to the California School Board, to the California School Employees Association, Chapter 586. Before we hold the public hearing, Vice Chancellor Cindy Viscachill will provide an introduction.
Thank you. The board will conduct a public hearing to provide an opportunity for the public to comment on the district's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association, CSEA. If the board has any questions throughout the public hearing process, I'm here to assist.
Okay. Does the board have any questions to staff to assist with their understanding of this matter?
No.
Okay. Board item 6.6, the public hearing on the matter is now open. Public comments are not to exceed 2 minutes. Any public comment? Okay. The public hearing is closed. Any further discussion on this by the board of trustees?
Can't hear. Can't hear.
Can you hear me?
No.
DJ, you sound like you're in a tunnel.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, we just lost him. So I think what he said is that are there any public members that would like to comment on this hearing?
So Trustee Milchker, I can say I have the script. I can tell you what he was saying. So he asked if the board had any questions for staff to assist in understanding. I believe the answer was no. And then the public hearing on the matter at hand is now open. Public comments are not to exceed 2 minutes. Hearing no public comments, then he closed the public hearing and asked if there is any further discussion on the matter by the Board of Trustees. And if there is not, which I see no further comment by the board, then item 6.6 is concluded, and we will now move to item 6.7, adoption of the district's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association.
Do you have to close the hearing first, or?
Yes, so I did close the hearing.
Close it, okay.
On behalf of Trustee Prendergast, I closed the hearing.
Okay, thank you. And now that was a public hearing. We had the CSEA initial district proposal on the agenda last meeting, and this is the hearing for the public to comment on it. And now we will have 6.7, which is the adoption of the district initial proposal to the California School Employees Association, CSEA Chapter 586, and approve the district's initial proposal to this, and approve it. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Tim approved it, and Trustee Wright seconded it, and Trustee Jamal approved it.
Sorry about that. I got Jim righted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments on it? We're just adopting our initial proposal now after the public hearing to make sure that if the public wanted to comment on it. So
Let's vote.
Grace, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
Oh, no.
and trustee Monahan.
Aye.
So the next one is academic employee, academic employee and classified administrative personnel actions. Is there a motion and a second?
I'm so moved.
There is no changes, but I have to read something before you move this item.
Okay.
So in accordance with Government Code Section 54953C3, I will read out the academic elements of the administrative contract before you in this item. The employee name is Scott Farthing, and the contract dates for the new Dean of Performing Arts is November 10th, 2020 through June 30, 2023. Range 22, step 2. Annual salary is $163,296, and monthly allowances of transportation $250 and cell phone $165. Thank you.
Okay. So moved.
Okay, so trustee Jay moved, and then was there a second?
Aye.
Okay, and trustee Wright was a second. And I'd like to say that Professor Scott Farthing has been a professor of choral music for many, many years at Saddleback College, and they finally, he never wanted to leave the classroom, but they finally, I guess, they actually begged him to become an interim dean, and he was an interim dean for a long time, and he did such a fabulous job. Now they're making him the full-time dean, and I couldn't be more delighted, except for the fact that he's not in the classroom. But anyway, so I just have to mention that. And also on this personnel item, there are 3 full-time new full-time professors being hired too. So if there are no other comments, we could have Grace read the roll, please. Do the roll call.
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Monahan.
Aye.
Okay, so the next item is 6.9, classified personnel item, regular items. Are there any changes?
There are no changes, President Melchiker. Thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you. And is there a motion and a second?
So move.
Okay, right? You do second?
I second.
Oh, trustee Jay second. Okay, thank you. And I just have to mention that Jose Areola, who's been a Saddleback groundskeeper for 37 years and 2 months, is retiring. He's been here longer than I have, so I have to give him a lot of credit. So I'm sure he's done a fabulous job, and we'll miss him. So you could do the roll call, please.
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
Okay, thanks. And oh, sorry, trustee Menifee, sorry. Go ahead.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and the next item is 6.10. This is the non-bargaining unit personnel action, regular items.
So moved.
So
Second.
Jamal, trustee Jamal, and trustee Wright. Are there any comments or any changes, Vice Chancellor Viscacho? No? So I guess we could just have a roll call now of this item. This is personnel items.
trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Gray.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And Trustee Monacy.
Aye.
Okay, and the next item is 7.0, and that's reports. And I'll just list the reports. 7.1, list of board requested reports, and there's none. 7.2, staff response to public comments, and there's none. 7.3, facilities plan status report, which is interesting to read, but there's nothing to discuss.
I had a question on that. I was wondering whether the IVC parking lot project will include the installation of electric vehicle, EV charging stations, electric vehicle charging stations.
Good question.
No, that particular one does not. However, we are working with Southern California Edison to get EV charging stations installed with their Charge Ready program at the IVC campus. So those will be forthcoming, and hopefully we'll get started in the first quarter of 2021. But we're waiting on Southern California Edison to get going. They say that they're ready to get going, and we will be getting them for the installation of them for free from Southern California Edison.
Great.
So Edison is going to do that they're going to install them without charging us?
Yes, it's part of the California Community College Investor-Owned Utility Consortium, and part of their program, which they call the Charge Ready program, that they will provide charging stations and the installation of those charging stations for free to colleges and universities that qualify for them. And we've already had them out and they've done the walk and we qualify. So we're just waiting for them to get going on that.
So Edison's being paid by this, they're still being paid for it, correct? I'm not.
There's funding at the state level. It's kind of through the Public Utilities Commission.
I've never seen Edison do something without getting paid for it. So that's why I'm asking the question. Monopolies don't do those things.
Right, they're getting paid through the California Public Utilities Commission, so CPUC. And it's one of the requirements that they are doing and working with really they're investor-owned utilities. And it's a way to help with California in reducing greenhouse emissions and becoming more energy efficient. So it's one of those programs that we are going to be able to benefit.
So this is a program specifically for community colleges.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to learn, maybe offline I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about this, but thank you for that.
Okay.
Be interesting. Okay, and 7.4 is the CARES Act funding monthly summary. Along with that, 7.5 is the COVID-19 response block grant monthly summary from CARES Act funding. And we've been reading about the new CARES Act funding, which I won't talk about now. But and then 7.6 is the monthly financial status report. And 7.7 is the retiree or OPEB trust fund, which is kind of a blind trust. And then we have written reports from the administration, which were interesting, the chancellor and both college presidents. I don't think there's any additional items, right? So is there a motion for?
I actually have some comments.
Yes?
And this is the point of the meeting where we can comment. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Scott Ferguson Green on being elected as the SBA president again. And then just letting the board leadership know that the OCBC has asked me to be the vice chair of the Workforce Development Committee.
Great.
That also means that I'm on the OCBC Executive Committee. So between the regular bi-monthly OCBC meetings, the Executive Committee meetings, and the Vice Chair of the Workforce Development Committee, I have a conflict with the monthly board call. So once we get all of that on my calendar, we'll be contacting board leadership to see if there's another time that we can schedule that call.
I'm sure there is, because, you know, at least for me there is, and there won't be a problem at all with that.
Okay, and then I would add, of course, for everybody to have a wonderful, safe, and happy holiday, and to get some rest and enjoy yourself, because we'll be back at it in January.
Thank you so much, and I agree. Please have a wonderful, happy holiday, and meaningful and relaxing, and stay safe, right? Thank you. Until you get the vaccine, stay safe. Okay.
Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Melchiker.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Trustee Rydell. Do we have a motion for adjourning the meeting?
We don't
I so
need one.
move.
You don't need one.
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks again, Trustee Pendergast, for everything.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas to all.
Wonderful,
To all.
wonderful president of the board.
Thanks for all the board's wonderful help. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
See you next
All right.
year.
Thank you.
Good night. See you next year.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. It's true.